Greetings, friends. It's Moshia Vows bringing you Moshia Vows. And I will be reviewing, I and Kevin here. Hello, Kevin.
Hello.
Me and Kevin will be reviewing Steven's team since he obviously can't review his own team.
Yeah, because that would be
Too much
kind of
bias.
yeah, that would be biased and yeah.
Just to make it fair. He could probably do it fairly, but we've got his team pulled up on Showdown. We're going to go through all 6 of his Pokemon, his singles Pokemon, what he picked for OU, UU, all of that good stuff. And I don't even think he has a UU Pokemon, Kevin.
I'm not 100% sure. I don't really check tiering on other people's Pokemon, so let me see.
He does not.
Oh wow. Well, I only have I have a lot of RUs as well.
Right. Not
So
that that's a bad thing. I'm just quite surprised at that.
he does have an OU,
Mm-hmm.
but the rest are like RU and stuff like that.
So let's start with that OU pick, King Gambit. Brand new Gen 9 evolution of Bisharp, which I definitely didn't see coming.
Yeah, I was a little shocked about that. Seeing that it got an evolution finally.
Right.
Ever since Gen 5, which came out like 10 years ago.
Yeah, literally.
It's been a decade since this thing got an evolution. Even though it didn't, I mean, it kind of deserved an evolution, but at the same time, not really, because it's still a really good mon.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it got one.
And the interesting thing about this Pokemon is that it's based on it's based on a Japanese type of history thing.
It's like a supreme
where
overlord.
Yeah, that's his signature ability, which is this Pokemon's moves have 10% more power for each fainted ally up to 5 allies. So, that's kind of scary.
It is. So if King Gambit's the last Pokemon, it's like every one of his moves get like a stab bonus.
Oh gosh, and imagine that was Sucker Punch. Oh
yeah.
Geez.
Yeah, it's got good stats. The only problem is it got slower. It only has 50 base speed, which is
it's sitting down.
It is sitting. It's very slow, but it's got a very.
It's sitting down, and it has a giant freaking sword on its head.
It does. It's got 100 base HP, which is pretty solid. It's very high. 135 attack. That's like Salamence level attack.
Yeah, and also it's got a lot of interesting moves. It can even set up rocks if it wants to. But also has its signature. It actually has a signature move. Where is it? I forgot what it was called. Oh yeah, Cow Cloud Cleave or something like that.
Yep. Doesn't check accuracy, so it can't miss.
Right. And also, I'm pretty sure that's also based on the Japanese thing, where it's like a false surrender or something like that.
Yeah. This thing's definitely based on like warlords, but it also
it's definitely based on certain history.
If it doesn't want to run Supreme Overlord, it can run Defiant still, which can be good. If there's sticky webs, someone's got sticky webs.
Pretty scary, but do not intimidate this thing.
Nope. It's got
or just lower attack stat because it will be bad if you do.
It's a free Swords Dance.
I don't think he's gonna put pressure on it. I highly doubt he's gonna put pressure.
Nope. I
don't see him doing that.
It will definitely be either Defiant or Supreme Overlord. I would honestly argue that Defiant is more consistent. Well, depending. I mean, if you never get your stats lowered, you're never going to use it. King Gambit can the Supreme Overlord. He's going to use that every match.
Yeah, I think he's going to use Supreme Overlord. I don't see him using Defiant.
Yeah.
But I think definitely Supreme Overlord, and his moves. He's got a really good move pool, I will say.
Yep.
And he's got very good defense, HP, and attack. So this thing could sweep you definitely if he allows it.
Imagine this thing under Trick Room.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yep.
crazy. Why you don't even need Sucker Punch
This thing can
if
also
you do
get,
that.
yeah, you could do this thing also ridiculously enough still gets Swords Dance and
Yeah, and also it also gets Thunder Wave.
yep,
It can make you slow, and
yep,
it can even put you on a timer with Toxic. It can knock off. It can Power Up Punch, and you know how much Steven loves using Power Up Punch,
yep,
especially on his Dusknoir. And also Brick Break, he can break through walls. Oh
yep.
my goodness!
It's got
And
stab throat
he
chop.
can home claws. Oh my goodness! Like
Yep,
Iron Head,
make that
he can Iron Defense. Like oh my goodness!
he can
He
make
can even
that
set up a substitute if he wants.
he could yeah, he could do that. He could with the hone claws, he could make the stone edge more accurate.
Oh my
Zen
goodness!
headbutt. It gets stab
Mhm.
throat chop. All sorts
Yeah,
of good
this fan is
stuff.
no wonder this fan is OU.
Oh,
Like this fan is great point. This definitely
oh,
deserves a few.
look at this, Kevin. It gets rock polish.
Yo,
It
that's
gets
actually
rock
kind of sick.
polish. Yeah, so it can run rock polish to boost its speed. If it does that twice, it's outspeeding a lot of the metagame. Although I don't personally see Steven using rock polish, but it is there. It is definitely there.
Right.
Gets X. Oh, it doesn't get X scissor anymore, huh? It doesn't. It did. I know it did. But
Bro, yeah, it used to, but not
yeah,
anymore,
it
unfortunately.
it gets a decent amount of coverage. A lot of good stab moves. I mean, it's always awesome having stab sucker punch, so that speed won't matter. Stab knockoff, stab iron head. Fairies don't want anything to do with this thing. The only big thing about it though is its dark steel typing.
Right. It is weak. It is quite weak to fighting.
It is, which of course terraforms can fix. This thing could easily, I could easily see Steven running Terra Ghost on this thing.
Oh gosh, it's like Tyranitar over again.
Yep. Well,
Yo, we can totally do that.
that's King Gambit. I mean, it's a pretty solid.
It's a pretty good mon. I'm a little scared of this fan. This
Yeah,
fan is, and I can definitely tell that he's definitely going to run it very well.
yeah. Imagine
But
it.
anyway, let's
Yeah. Well,
so
real quick. Just imagine an assault vested King Gambit.
oh my goodness, that would be interesting.
You would not be able to break through that thing. So, which one should we do next, though, Kevin?
Let's talk about Breloom.
Oh boy, let's talk about freaking Breloom. Breloom.
I already know he's definitely going to run either Technician or Poison Heal. I'm
Yep.
not sure. Probably Technician. I don't see him running Poison Heal.
Yep.
I can already tell what he's going to run. He's definitely going to run the Spore, probably Swords Dance, probably Mop Punch, and Bullet Seed.
That
Like,
is
for sure.
definitely a solid Breloom, but it can do more than that. But yeah, Breloom is going. You never know what Breloom is going to do because he could run at Poison Heal with the substitute Leech Seed set
Oh
and go
god,
from there.
that
Swords
sounds so
Dance.
annoying. That
What?
sounds so annoying. I'm saying like that sounds like so annoying to deal
Yeah.
with. Like substitute poison heal. Oh, he can substitute first turn,
Yep.
or put you to sleep first turn and then substitute,
Yep. Yep. And it can
and
still
then
Swords
just do.
Dance.
You never know what Steven could do when it comes to his bonds.
Yep.
Like it definitely. It also has pretty good. It has some pretty good. It has really good attack. Like oh my goodness.
Yep. It
It has
has
really good attack.
130. That's pretty. All of its other stats are terrible,
I
but
mean, it's not too bad. It's got the only good thing about it is his attack and not really. I don't know.
it's not
It's
very
mediocre.
good. Yeah, it's very
Mediocre.
mediocre. It's also weak to a lot of things, so I could easily see
Yeah,
Steven focus sashing this thing.
yeah,
I think
no,
you're right. I think
yeah,
he's
yeah. Focus Sash. If he wants to run Focus Sash, he would have to run Technician.
yep. That's
But
usually
definitely, I know someone who also does something similar to Braylon as well, but I don't want to mention him.
yeah. Breloom, I mean, that's more consistent than the Poison Heal set because he would have to almost lead with Breloom to scare something out to set up.
Yeah, I could definitely see him tear this fan
Yeah.
pretty frequently.
The
But
only
yeah, overall, like it's a usual. I can see what he could do. Like I don't really see anything else.
It
what he
d-
could probably do to throw us off, other than Focus
Yep.
Sash, Technician, or Poison Heal. I highly doubt he's going to use a Fet Spore. I don't see him doing
No,
that. You don't really run a Fet Spore on a Breloom.
not when there's better. Yeah, not when it has fantastic abilities. The thing about
So yeah,
Breloom is it has 4 move syndrome. Like it's always gonna run a grass fighting. It gets Mach Punch. That's something we're probably gonna see a lot on there. Bullet Seed
he's
for
definitely a
Technician.
Bullet Seed, Sword Stance, Spore. Yeah, like the usual move set for a Breloom. I
Fas-
don't see him running anything else differently,
yeah,
unless he just wants to throw us off with something different.
he could bulk
But
up or use Facade. Um,
a Facade on a Poison Hill, that sounds
yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Imagine that with Terra normal Breloom with
yep,
Facade Poison Heal.
yep.
Now that sounds interesting.
It gets,
But anyway, overall, pretty good mod.
yep,
Next up, we've got Chandelure. Oh boy, this vein is very, very interesting. It's definitely a very interesting pick that Steven picked. Uh, this vein hits very hard.
it does. 145 special is monstrous.
Like, imagine scarfing this vein or spexing this vein. Like, bro, its speed will be insane if you surf this vein.
Yep.
Flash fire or flame body. It also gets infiltrator. So
Yep.
yeah,
You can't set up screens.
your screens and subs don't matter.
Yep. Which a lot of people end up forgetting about. You can't flinch it. Wait, yeah, you can.
Yeah, and
I'm thinking
also
of a different ability. But yeah, Infiltrator
that
is definitely good.
yeah, Infiltrator is definitely a really good mod, a good ability for it. It gets a lot of good moves. It can Trick Room. Oh my
Yep.
goodness. Oh gosh, he has a Trick Roomer. He can do that with freaking King Gambit,
It can,
along with other upcoming mods that we're going to talk about. It gets so many good moves. It can clear Smog.
yep. It can
It
Acid
can
Armor,
get rid of
raise
all
that
those buffs.
defense, Calm Mind.
It can overheat. It can flamethrower. It can hex. It can taunt you. It can trick room, will wisp, sub, shadow ball. Uh, you know,
Yep.
just like just insane moves. It can even energy ball, like for the water types. Oh my
Yep.
goodness.
It's got decent coverage. The only thing that's not good about it is its speed is 80, which isn't the fastest. So it's going to definitely want to be scarfed most of the time. And if it is, it's going to absolutely rip everything apart.
Yeah,
Stab
that's
Shadow Ball.
and Steven has used Chandelure before in the past,
Yeah.
so he's definitely know how to use Chandelure. However, the thing about Chandelure is that it's not that tanky.
It's bulk.
It's a pretty good it's a pretty glass cannon. It's definitely a glass cannon.
It might be able to take a hit, but it's bulkier than Breloom is. It has 90 defenses. Breloom only has 60, so it's definitely not as frail as Breloom. But yeah, and it's also weak
Yeah,
to
one ghost move or
rock.
one water move, and this should take it out, no problem. Like one or two of them, and you
Yep.
should be good as long as you survive his hits.
It's just got to
Yeah,
watch out for
overall,
ground.
pretty good move.
Got to watch out
All right, next
for.
up. All right, you ready to move
Hold
on to the
on.
next one?
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Sorry.
It does. I got to do the resistances because I need to do that real quick. But I mean, yeah, it's got to watch out for water, ground. It's got quite a bit of weaknesses. Got to watch out for ghosts outspeeding it. Got to watch out for them knockoffs. But yeah, it's got a pretty solid move pool. You can trick room. This is if he wants to trick room, he's definitely gonna want to use this thing. But
Yeah, Trick Room on this thing would be pretty good, but I can tell he's probably gonna scarf it. Like a scarf overheat or a scarf shadow ball.
Yeah, maybe a
Or
focus
he could,
sash.
I don't see a focus sash.
Yeah. The big weakness though is the rock weakness, which is stealth rock's gonna really hurt him. And
Yeah,
so
I mean
far
he could run heavy duty boots if he wants. He
so
could.
so far Steven doesn't have too much for hazards except for King Gambit, which we're forgetting can run stealth rocks.
That too. But the thing is but as you can tell, he has two fire weaknesses on his team so far. So
Yep,
that could be a problem for him. He
it
has
could.
two fire weaknesses, and he has so I think I'm also forgetting another things. Uh, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's all I can really think of right now. He
He
has
he's got
two.
he's got two
He's
ground
got two fire
weaknesses
weaknesses.
as well.
Yeah, and two ground weaknesses too. Two fires and two ground.
So what
Yeah.
what should we do next?
Let's talk about Swampert.
Okay, I Swampert's pretty fun. It's very an
It
all.
doesn't get
It's
Swift Swampert. It's unlike Mega Swampert. This will
That's
not
Mega
be Mega.
Swampert. So Swampert really doesn't get too many good abilities. Damp can be helpful, but not really.
Yeah, like for like Pokemon who just wants to just blow up.
Yeah, that's
So yeah, like so yeah.
usually rare.
I'm not sure. Like I don't know what he would run when it comes to Swampert.
He most likely
Uh,
will run. I mean, Swampert is a starter, so it's very balanced. He's definitely gonna have Stab, Earthquake on there.
oh yeah, for sure.
Waterfall, or it gets Flip Turn too, so it can essentially U-turn out.
Yeah, it's basically you turn by water. That's
Yep.
basically what it is. He
Swampert,
could run.
he gets a
He
lot
could
of
run
things.
stuff.
Go ahead. Hello? Okay.
So the reason I got disconnected there was
So
weird. But anyway. But yeah, this thing gets a variety of moves. Like this thing can curse, this thing can counter. So yeah, honestly, I can say that Steven's team would actually be helpful if it had a trick room.
yeah,
This thing is. I think this team is definitely a trick room team so far.
you're right. It's still
Like you don't even need the speed buffs. Like you don't
nope.
need like moves like rock polish or a choice scarf. As long as you run trick room, like
Yep,
I think he can do good with it with a trick room.
I do too.
Like and also he would probably get revenge on me because I used to have a trick roomer
Huh.
back in last season, and he hated trick room. He hated when I used trick room.
It can be annoying,
So
but Swampert has really good stats all around. The only thing it doesn't do good at is speed, which is okay. Swampert is almost always going to take a hit, even from a lot of grass moves. Sometimes, not all the time, because it is quad weak to grass, which is its only weakness. But it gets a lot of coverage. It gets all sorts of special moves, which we're not going to go through because usually this thing wants to run physical. I mean, it gets Avalanche, Body Press could be good if it's curses. Brick Break for screens. It can counter if it wants to be annoying. Darkest Lariat's great. Earthquake, of course. Flip Turn's really cool. I really like Flip Turn. I could see him using Flip Turn.
right. I would see him use like waterfall or something like that. Or does he get waterfall?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm not sure if that changed in this generation.
Yeah.
Because
It gets a lot of.
since a lot like Pokemon games nowadays, they tend to remove certain moves.
Yeah.
So in a way, I just can't tell.
It doesn't get
nowadays.
scald. Oh, yeah, it does. Normally it wouldn't. See, here's the thing that everybody has to keep in mind. If we were playing on OU, these move sets would be entirely different for every single Pokemon.
Oh yeah, but since we're running anything goes national, that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's just Nat Dex, I
No. Sometimes I think it's AG. National Dex Gen 9.
I'm not sure about that. We'll have to ask Steven, but that's Swampert. Swampert, I believe, also gets Stealth Rocks, so it can throw the rocks out too, so King Gambit doesn't have to. But it's overall
Right.
just kind of a semi.
He definitely has a lot of Pokemon that can use rocks.
Just two so far.
So far, no spikes, but definitely Stealth Rock.
Yep. Well, that's Swampert. You just got to watch out for that 4 times weakness to grass. Indeed.
Which is only weakness. So
yep. It is indeed.
So yeah. So I don't think really tearing would be too necessary besides the grass. Even if he goes against a grass type, he has King Gambit and he has Breloom, so basically he doesn't really need to tear a Swampert.
Steven's team literally every single Pokemon on Steven's team but Swampert resists grass. Literally every single one of them.
Right. And heck, he can even Ice Punch
Yep.
with Swampert if he wants to
It's
take care of grass for himself if he's under Trick Room. So
right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep. Steven does not really have to worry about Swampert being covered.
right. So yeah, overall, Swampert would be a pretty good mod.
It is.
But anyway, now let's talk about Robin Williams,
What?
aka
Gudra?
Thunderous.
I don't get it. Robin Williams. Well,
I can't look on Showdown. Like I can't look outside of Discord when I'm on my phone. So
uh,
it's little. I don't know. Like I have a. It's weird, but but yeah.
you're
So I
not
have
on your
to.
computer?
No, I'm on my phone.
Oh, I see. Well,
Okay,
anyway, I got the
anyway,
showdown stuff. It's all good.
right.
So let's talk about Robin Williams, the Gudra.
Yeah. No, I was talking about Thunderous. I was talking about Thunderous.
Oh.
That's why I
See,
said
that makes
Robin
more
Williams
sense.
because he plays the genie in Aladdin.
I
Well,
see, that
the
makes more
original
sense.
Aladdin, not the live action one.
Right.
Because that's Will Smith.
Steven should definitely name this thing Will Smith. Well,
No, you gotta get the classic Robin Williams because that's the OG for the genie,
so
or OG
oh,
if you put
genie.
it that way.
Thunderous is an electric flying type, which is a really good typing. Very good.
Yeah, you can't hit the spin with ground move, so it has a ground immunity, which is pretty good.
Yep.
And it also gets Prankster. This fade could taunt you if it wants to.
Yep, it'll always go first no matter what, unless you're a dark type. And that
It
might not
can
even be a
paralyze
thing.
you. It could taunt you, like
Yep.
guaranteed. Like you ain't outspeed this fade
Nope.
if you try to set.
Very few Pokemon can outspeed Thunderous, and it has good attack all across the board too, and somewhat decent bulk for that attack as well.
Right, and this fade is pretty good. This fade hits pretty hard, kinda. Yeah,
It
and it's very
gets
fast too.
it can run either, so it's gonna get use of its special and physical moves if it wants to, but its special is a little bit higher with 125, but its attack is still very good with 115.
Yeah, I could see him run this fade special.
Yep. I could see him running at physical too. It gets all sorts of cool moves, acrobatics, brick break for those screens again. It can bulk up if it wants to.
Now,
Crunch, dark
now this fade
pulse.
is definitely not. Now, Flutterous is definitely not going to be good at over Trick Room
Nope.
because this fade is pretty fast. So
Yep.
so this is basically the Jolteon on his team.
Yeah, it's the slightly slower, slightly better version of Jolteon, in my opinion.
Hey, at least he doesn't have a ground weakness with his electric type. So
Yep.
I guess that's. However, it does give more weaknesses than Jolteon, since Jolteon only has like the ground weakness.
Right.
But this fade is weak to rock. This fade is weak to ice. This fade is weak to
That should be it, I think.
No, yeah, it's just ice and rock. Yeah, it's just ice and rock.
So that's really good. The stealth rock weakness is kind of threatening, so you would want stealth rocks when you fight him. But it can nasty plot. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's not. Oh, and plus with a Pracer. Oh gosh,
Yep.
that's not good. And this fade's fast too. This fade could sweep. I will
Yep.
say.
With a nasty plot, yeah, it can definitely sweep. It gets Volt Switch, of course, and U-turn. So it can Thunder Wave, Toxic. It definitely has good coverage on both the special and the physical side of things. Only thing I'm not seeing is ground. There's no like earth power or anything like that. But
he could probably run HP ground if he wants to.
It gets knockoff.
Yeah, I figured. But yeah, like overall, Thunderous is pretty good.
It is. It's not the most bulkiest, but for a sweeper, it'll definitely take a hit.
And yeah, I'm pretty sure it will definitely grant Steven free wishes.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. All it needs to do is rub the lamp and you're good to go.
Does it get wish? It does not.
Hmm.
That's a shame.
Okay, that makes no sense though. It honestly should, since it's a genie. It grants you
Right.
wishes. Like, come on, man. Come on, Game Freak. Seriously, you had one job with that.
It
If you're
gave
making a genie, come on, you gotta give a wish.
they gave Salamence Wish.
Okay, that makes no sense.
It really does have Wish though.
That makes no sense.
It's the theory is because it wishes to be a flying. It wants to fly when it's a Shelgon, so it wishes that. But yeah, it doesn't make much sense.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Let's talk about Gudra now. This one is
All right,
very
this is his
interesting.
last Pokemon. His last Pokemon, the very uh, gooey, gross, weird goo fade. I don't freaking
I
know what
like
this fade
Gudra.
is.
Gudra's cute,
Yeah,
and
but
it's huge,
it's
and it is kind of weird. But
it's a strange dragon type. It's like the first thing you see Gumi, you don't expect this thing to be a dragon type. Like
not at
at
all.
first, like that's a dragon. Like what the heck?
Yeah, it's
But overall, this made it. Oh, but design aside, it's got decent moves and it's got decent stats.
very decent stats. But first, let's go to the abilities. It gets Sap Sipper, which is
Yeah, a grass immunity.
kind of weird. I don't really see that. It gets hydration, so if Steven wants to run rain, this thing cannot be statused. And it gets something called Gooey, which means Pokemon making contact with this Pokemon have their speed lowered by one stage.
It's like it's like uh it's like uh it's like weak armor, but it doesn't
Yeah,
wait, am I still there? Okay.
yeah, you're good.
It's like weak armor, except uh making this Pokemon will have their speed lowered.
Yep,
Pokemon making contact with Pokemon have their speed lowered by one stage. Wait, do they like lower their speed or Gudra's speed?
their speed.
Okay, so which can be good. That's good for like fast sweepers.
Yep,
I can see him run either Sap Sipper or Gooey.
for
Which
sure.
honestly, Gooey made so much sense with this Pokemon. Since look, it looks really messy.
I mean, it's called Goodra.
Yeah, Goodra. It's goo,
This
and it's gonna shoot your goo. It's gonna
this
shoot its
thing
goo at you.
this thing is the pseudo legendary from the Kalos region, I believe, and
Yes.
it has a massive 150 special defense with 90 HP. You're not doing
Yeah.
anything to this thing.
It can take an ice beam, no
Oh
problem.
yeah, oh easily.
Yeah, it can take an ice beam. It can even take a special dragon move. Like
Yep,
this pain is definitely a special wall in a way.
100%. Let's check out its move pool now. It gets acid armor, which is really cool. So it can immediately raise that defense almost as good as its special defense and make it freaking unmovable. Um,
Right.
Blizzard. I mean, its attack is 100 and its special is 110. So it's nothing mind blowing, but it is something formidable.
Wow, this thing can learn flamethrower. This
Yep.
thing can learn like a lot of them. It can learn ice beam. That's weird. A primary dragon learn
Yep.
an ice move. Like
Yep.
what?
Yeah. It can
It
also.
even gets flamethrower and thunderbolt. Like what?
Yep. It gets those special moves. It gets the physical versions of them too, because it can thunder punch, it can superpower, it can use return, it can power whip,
This may have a bunch of varieties.
it can
A bunch of varieties.
outrage, it can iron tail against fairies, it can fire punch,
That's true.
earthquake. You could get crazy with a curse set on this thing. I could see this thing being a good
Hopefully.
curse set.
I mean, I feel like I'm kind of used to a special type Dudra.
Yeah,
I don't see him running a physical Dudra.
he could though.
I mean,
Just
hey, who knows? Who knows? He does
yeah,
have a lot of special attackers. Like
Steven.
he has Thunderous. He has Chandelure. He's got Gudra.
Yep.
He's got some varieties.
Well,
Like it's
both.
definitely balanced. He's definitely balanced on his attackers. He's got free Yeah, he's got free physical, free special. So he's definitely balanced on that.
Yep, I would agree.
But anyway, I think that's I think that's all for the team like analysis. But
Yep.
now, time to answer some questions. So the first question is: Can this team sweep? Can this team sweep?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I can definitely see him. He has a lot of sweepers.
Uh,
He's definitely got some sweepers, like especially King Gambit, especially Breloom. Uh, Not much on Shane Lore.
it could.
Uh, Thunderous could sweep
Yep.
if he like nasty plots and stuff like that, and just I mean maybe he probably could sweep.
I
He's not
guarantee.
that
I
yeah
guarantee it can.
yeah. So honestly, yeah, the answer is yes. He can definitely sweep. Can this Fane wall? Can this team wall?
I think it can. He's got good typing kind of distribution. He has King Gambit for the physical side, and he has Gudra for the special side. The only problem is a lot of his Pokemon, like Chandelure and Breloom, aren't very bulky, so they cannot
Right,
wall. But
right,
if King Gambit and Gudra go down, Steven's gonna have to rely on Swampert, which can
right.
wall, but it's not really meant to do that.
So I would say yeah, but there's only a couple Pokemon can wall.
Yep.
But some most of his Pokemon are glass cans though. So honestly, yeah, it can, but not as much
Hmm.
as it hopes.
Not as much
But
as
anyway,
other teams.
the next question is: Can this Fane? I keep saying Fane. Can this team set up and you know and
Yes.
had yeah it can definitely set up. Like he has a lot of steps. He has Swampert. He's got King Gambit. He's got I think I'm not sure if Gudra can set up with like Rust. I don't think
Let's
it can.
see. Nope.
No, okay. Uh, but
So
and he
he.
also has Breloom. He can also Spore.
Yep.
He can do that. So I honestly yes, but the thing is, he I don't think he has a rapid spinner. I don't think he has a rapid spinner or uh, a defogger. I think the only defogger he could possibly have is probably Thunderous.
Yep. Thunderous gets defog.
Yeah,
So he
so if he
can,
wants
but
to run defog, he can.
that's it though. None of his other Pokemon, I believe, can get rid of hazards. So he does have the stealth rocks, but he doesn't have spikes or any toxic spikes. So he can handle
So
hazards to a degree.
yeah. Besides, like Pokemon like Chandelure, he does not like rocks. So yeah. But
So
anyway, and the last question is, will this make playoffs? Absolutely.
I think that okay, if I didn't know whose team this was, I would say I would still probably say yes, but I would say that there are more scarier teams in my opinion. If you can crack through, if you can endure and get around like Breloom's tricks and you can endure those sweepers if you have the right typing, you can break through that. Is it
Right.
I don't think
I believe he can. I believe this team can make playoffs
what would you rank it?
if he's right. Uh, so this team, from a scale of 1 to 10, in my personal opinion, I would say but this team can be very scary.
Yep.
It's definitely this team definitely hits hard on all of its Pokemon. All of its Pokemon can hit pretty hard. Honestly,
Sort
I would
of.
say yes, yeah, a little sort of.
I mean,
Uh,
Gudra can't really. Swampert can. I mean, they have the offenses, but they're probably not going to sweep. The thing that really scares me is King Gambit and Breloom. They both scare me.
yeah, and I'm also scared of Chandelure too,
Yep.
and also Thunderous. Those four are the ones that I'm scared of
Yep.
because
Well,
he could taunt you, he could set up, and he could wreck.
I personally am afraid of the thing about Chandelure and Thunderous though is both of them are weak to rock and they're both not very bulky. King Gambit is bulky and Breloom is just very 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 tricky.
So
I
I would
I think he can sweep for sure. He can definitely win this with this team.
honestly, I feel like a high 8 out of 10 or a low 9.
A low 9, huh? I
Like I feel like it's definitely a high 8 out of 10, or in like a in like I feel like it barely makes A tier.
I feel I personally would rate it 7, 7.5. So let's go with in between that. Let's go with an 8.
Yeah, let's go with an 8 out of 10. This team is pretty good if used very. This team is very good. Uh, if
Yep.
used right, which I'm sure Steven would definitely use this team as best as he could, because
Yep.
he's very good at running certain mons.
Yep.
Like he definitely learns pretty quickly on what mon he uses. And hey,
Yes.
if he feels like some of his mons don't go well, he could honestly trade in the future for better mons. So
I can see him getting
yeah.
rid of Gudra somehow. Who knows though?
Honestly, I can see that too. Maybe Swampert. Maybe Swampert.
I don't think he'll get rid of it. I think Swampert's too solid. It's
Well, we'll
tried and
see. We'll
true.
see what happens with that.
We will
But
see.
yeah, yeah, 8 out of 10 for Steven's team for the champion Jolteons or Anderson Jolteons.
Yep. We
So
will
yeah,
we will
so there you
see.
go.
We will see what he does with this team. I mean, Steven is one of the best in our league. So
Yeah,
surely he will be
he's
able to do
definitely
something.
he's definitely a very good player.
Yep.
He's been doing this for like a decade, I'm pretty sure.
Let me put it this
Well,
way.
not really a decade. I mean, not really a decade. He's been doing this for definitely like
A long
close to
time.
that. He's been doing this for a long time.
Let me put it this way, Kevin. I think if Steven gets really creative with his team, like, yeah, you can run Thunder as special, but you can also run it attack. The same thing with Gudra. You could do that same thing. It's just slightly lower. I think if he gets creative with not knowing, hey, you don't know if my Thunderous, you think my Thunderous has Thunderbolt. Well, oops, it has Acrobatics and Thunder Punch and all that. I think if he does that, his team will be very difficult to pin down without
and
literally until
and
it's
also
too late.
predict
Yes.
and also predict.
Well,
So yeah, like I could definitely see him like putting up some strats
yep.
and over shenanigans
If
that we would not expect from him. Like, because there's times where he tends to switch up some feigns
yep.
for certain occasions. So you never know what he could do. So he could completely throw us off with some new feigns that we're not aware of right now.
That's
But hey,
correct.
we'll see what he does on his upcoming battles.
Yes, we
Let's
will.
see how well he does.
He
But
has
yeah,
he has to fight Telly, I believe, first week.
yes, which is going to be tomorrow, would be exciting.
Who do you? Oh, you already did your match. I'm gonna watch your match
Yeah,
after this.
yeah, I already did my match.
Very
But
cool.
yeah,
That about
yeah,
does it, guys.
I think, yep, yep. Hope you enjoyed the video.
Yes, sir.
See you
Everybody
guys
take
next time.
care. Be sure to subscribe to everybody. Later.